Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. My name is Kartik. I'm one of the co-founders of ETHGlobal, and I want to welcome all of you to the MarketMake finale. We have an amazing next couple of hours planned for all of you today, and I want to kick off this and get to the great parts of starting off our amazing demos. So we've been doing a lot of online events over the past 12 months, and to make the experience a lot more interactive and have it adapt to what we're doing, we've designed our live page to reflect what's happening in the stream. So all of you are joining us here on live.ethglobal.co, and I want to make sure that you kind of get the chance to check out this page. You can see the video on the left here. We have a chat for all of our attendees on the right side. There's a video you can enjoy and take breaks. And I'll also encourage all of you to kind of sign in to the chat and play with your avatars and use that to ask us any questions or make any comments. And we'll be able to relay them right into the live stream. So MarketMake is an event organized by ETHGlobal. And for those of you who don't know, ETHGlobal is an organization whose mission is to onboard thousands of developers into the Web3 ecosystem. This event is our first event of 2021. And before we jump into how this was designed and how this came to be, I wanted to just take a quick couple of minutes and summarize 2020 for us. 2020 was one of our largest years in terms of events and impact. We kicked off the year last year with our first and only in-person event in ETH London, where we hosted a few hundred developers in the city of London. Then we moved on to Hack Money, which was our first online and DeFi-focused event. And over the summer, we ran Hackafest, which was a collaboration between Protocol Labs and ETHGlobal, where we worked on and helped the. Looks like we have some AV issues. What I'll do is, sorry about that. We ran Hackafest in partnership with Filecoin and Protocol Labs, where we worked on Web3 and decentralized storage related hacks. And then we moved on to our biggest event so far, ETH Online, which was a near 1,000-person event with 5 different summits on different topics, anywhere from scaling to privacy to the future of Ethereum and ETH2. Overall, throughout 2020, we hosted 1,900 hackers and close to 4,000 summit attendees from all different domains and experiences and backgrounds. And these participants came from 87 different countries spanning 21 different time zones. We never thought we'd be able to make an impact at this scale and reach this global audience. And we're excited to do this and even beat our own expectations for this year. And that brings us to MarketMake. So MarketMake was our first event focused on lending specifically, and also how we wanted to kick off 2021. For this event, we hosted 490 hackers from 58 different countries, and they span across 17 different time zones. They've all been working on really amazing hacks for the last 3 weeks, and with the help of 30 plus mentors and 10 companies who came in as sponsors and our supporters, we kind of had an amazing event here. So I want to quickly just thank some of our companies who made this event possible. First off, is Aave. Then I want to thank Ethereum Foundation, 1inch, Chainlink, Matic, UMA, and ENS, who were there to support the event and our hackers in building projects using their protocols. And then I also want to thank the Graph, Aavegotchi, Schap, CoinGecko, and CoinMarketCap for supporting MarketMake. And 3 weeks of intense hacking and learning and talks and workshops, we finally got to the end where last Sunday we had all of our teams and attendees submit their projects. The outcome and the impact of this has been absolutely phenomenal. We had 134 projects that came out of this event, and we spent the last 3 days judging and going through all of our projects, thanks to the amazing set of over 20 judges that helped out with this process. And from there, we were able to get to a list of our 12 finalists who we want to highlight today. There are some of our 12 favorite projects, and today is dedicated to showcasing what they've done and having them do a demo of what their hack was. So I want to quickly just introduce what these 12 teams are, who these 12 teams are, and in no specific order. I want to congratulate Orca Protocol, LevAave, Paladin, Hush Hush, FlashSuite, Gearbox Protocol, Lend2 Protocols, Revert, AAVEtrage, Coinfu, Mobil App for Aave, and Claimable. These 12 teams will be coming on here and showcasing everybody what they've done. And we are ready to kick this off. So the one thing when we came up, we got kind of the final list of these projects was they all sort of fell into these nice, interesting categories. They were a really good set of lending and Aave-specific hacks. And we saw a lot of interesting primitives and protocols, specifically focused on DeFi and composability of DeFi protocols. And then we had an obvious category that focused on infrastructure and analytics and how to actually best take advantage of all the public information that's out there. And before we move on to our first demo, I also want to take a second and kind of mention that just because a project was not listed on this top 12, it does not mean you were not good enough or there was something that was not worth talking about or highlighting. I want to specifically thank all 122 projects here that still put in the same amount of time and work and energy to make this event a success. And not only just that, they continue to push themselves into trying new things, playing with new protocols, giving new tools a try. We had an amazing set of over 100 people who had never done any Web3 development. And we got a lot of them to showcase and talk about their progress throughout the judging process. And I want to congratulate all of you for still pushing forward and demoing what you've done. All these hacks are available on hack.ethglobal.co, and you should be able to go to this website and check out everything that was submitted for this event. So we hope that all of you keep working and in publishing these projects and getting more feedback and improving them. And with that, I want to kick us off with our very first set of demos. We have 4 amazing people who are joining us today. We have Stani Kulechov from Aave, Ashleigh Schap from Uniswap, Linda Shea from Scalar Capital, and Spencer Noon from Variant Fund. They'll be here with us today, giving their feedback and comments and questions to all of our 12 teams. And without further ado, I want to kick us off with our very first demo. So we'll have the infrastructure category come up first. We'll have FlashSuite, Revert, Coinfu, and Claimable present back to back, and then we'll do a group Q&A for all 4 of these projects. And we'll have this opportunity to ask and share any feedback. So with that, please welcome FlashSuite with our very first demo for our finale.
Okay, all right, thank you, Kartik, for that introduction. So we're at FlashSuite. We're gonna kick off the demo right about now. Okay, so just want to make sure, can everybody hear me and see my presentation? Okay, awesome. All right, what's up, everyone? Our product is FlashSuite. My name is Lee. I'm from New York City, and my background is in Wall Street and finance. My team consists of 3 other members. They are Mikkel, our UX and UI designer, Elaine, our architect from France, and Raf, our full stack engineer from London. So what is FlashSuite? It's a set of tools that empowers non-technical users to better take advantage of Flash loans. And in this toolkit, we currently have 2 tools. 1, our Flash Arb, and 2, our Flash Pose. So let me take you through each of them. So the first tool in our toolkit is FlashArb. FlashArb is a price discrepancy monitor, and its goal is to empower non-technical users to be able to identify and execute arbitrage trade opportunities using Flash loans. Let me demonstrate. So it's loading. As you see, in this matrix of price discrepancies, we have 5 DeFi dexes, which are visually displayed with the price differences of coin pairs listed on each of these exchanges. So yeah, the pairs are given from a drop-down menu on the left. And here I can select the pair I actually want. And this data is lively streamed directly from 1inch and 0x. So, okay, here we see a healthy pair of price discrepancies, and the arbitrage opportunities are in absolute value. So what we really want is to find the biggest price spread. That it could be negative or positive. So once we have the spread we're looking for, we then need to enter how much ETH we want to borrow in the Flash loan. And once we do that, then we go to the cost profit analysis to see what our estimated net profit is. So let's give this a try. So with this pair, the biggest is Balancer and Dodo. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I want to do an arbitrage opportunity, and I want to I want to borrow 1,000 ETH in my flash loan. Okay, with 1,000 ETH, this is actually not a good opportunity because this calculator is showing me a negative. So with a negative value, let's see. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's go to Banker and a Balancer. Banker actually has no fees, right? So this would give us a positive value because we have trading fees of 0. And if we were to borrow 1,000 ETH in a flash loan, our gross profit would be 7,000. And minus our flash loan fees and trading fees and gas costs, we would net about $989. So again, this is just an estimate, but this gives you a sense of what arbitrage trading opportunities are in the market. And this is specifically for trade identification. Now, in the future, what we'd like to do is create a button here, a launch button, that once we identify the opportunity, we can, with a single click, execute the flash loan arbitrage trade. So this is the first tool. The second tool in our arsenal is called Flash Pose. What is Flash Pose? Flash Pose is a position migrator. It's a solution that allows you to select the loans and deposits you have on Aave from one Ethereum account and migrate them to another account in just a few clicks. Let me demonstrate. So before I demonstrate, I actually want to go to the Aave testnet. As a user in this testnet, I have an account with 2 collateral deposits and 2 loans, and I want to migrate some of my loans and my loans and my collaterals to a different account of mine. Now, you might ask, why would I want to migrate to another account that's already owned by me? Well, for various reasons, but one of the most popular reasons is that sometimes users want to migrate their positions from a hot wallet to a cold wallet. Okay. So, and if I want to do the migration manually, right, it would take a series of different steps and it could be quite cumbersome. So, but with our Flash Pose tool, we can actually migrate in just 3 clicks. Let me show you. So, and just to caveat here, we're just only going to show MetaMask transactions. We're not going to have any cold wallet transactions. So, okay, this is Flash Pose. As you can see, there's 2 accounts. The first account is the account of origin, and the second account is the account of destination. This will be my MetaMask account 1, and this will be my MetaMask account 2. This is the recipient account. This is the origin account where we want to migrate our loans. Our loans are collaterals. So, so what we want to do first is select the deposit collaterals and the loans we want to migrate, and then we hit migration. We hit the migration button. Okay. So here, as step 1, we now want to approve the transfer of my deposits from account 1. So it's gonna load. It's gonna take a while, but notice we also included health factors here in the origin account and also in the destination account. So while this is loading, okay. So step 2, once this is once this is done, step 1 is done. It's asking me to choose the destination account, so I go to account 2. Okay. Okay, once I choose the account, what really happens is it retrieves the existing positions in account 2. So here I have a deposit of Chainlink in 1,000 tokens. Now, okay, now as a step 2, I approve this transaction, and this is to approve the transactions from the destination account to take out the loans I'm migrating. Okay, and once this is approved, what happens underneath the hood is that we make use of Aave's credit delegation functionality to allow our smart contract to borrow on behalf of the destination account, which is our account 2. So, okay, and then finally, the third click, we're going to hit confirm, and this is to complete the migration using a flash loan. Okay, so here we have a little bit of flash loan magic, and boom. You can see that the collateral deposit and the loan has successfully migrated to the destination. Okay, we're going to do a quick check just to make sure on the testnet. Okay, this is account 2, the destination account. We can see our DAI, which is our loan, and our YFI, which is our collateral, has been successfully migrated. And to double check, I'm going to go to my count 1, which is our origin count, and you can see that, okay, the loan and the collateral of DAI and Wi-Fi has been migrated. So this is successful. All right. So in closing, in the spirit of decentralization, our FlashSuite tool is fully deployed on IPFS. And furthermore, as the DeFi market continues to grow, we feel our FlashSuite toolkit is an appropriate supplement to support existing users and attract new users to try out Flash loans. Thank you, and thank you for listening.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Lee, and the FlashSuite team. I'll ask all of you to just stay on and just keep your videos off. We'll move on to the next demo, and then we'll have a Q&A for all projects. So without further ado, let's have Revert present. And Mario, whenever you're ready, kick off with your demo.
Yeah, hi. Let me just share my screen. Okay, is this coming through?
Yes.
Okay, so hi, I'm Mario. I am based in Mexico City, and my hack is called Revert, and it's an analytics tool for liquidity providers on DeFi. So liquidity providers can have their assets divided across different pools and across different dexes. And to properly calculate the P&L for any one position, you have to take into account the value of the underlying assets, the value of the assets originally invested, also any possible gas cost incurred, and maybe even reward incentives that the position might be accruing. And you also want to manage risks, and this involves being on top of different trends like the volume for the pool, the reserves for the pool, the prices for the underlying assets, and maybe even the prices for the reward assets as well. So I built this app, and you can access it right now at revert.finance. From here, you can connect either your MetaMask or Portus wallet, but for this demo, we're going to use the very famous nubi.eth account. And what we're doing right now is getting all the data from the blockchain. So this involves all the transactions relevant to the LP positions. So like mints, burns, any LP transfers out, any possible stakings and claiming of rewards. And we gather all this data. And from this, we built this dashboard. And you can see here in the dashboard your open position and any historical exited position. And you also get an aggregated values for all your LP positions. And you can toggle this thing here to include also the exited positions or only the open positions, right? And the P&L from pools refers to the P&L that is derived only from the assets originally invested and the current underlying assets or the assets withdrawn. And the total P&L will also include staking rewards and gas costs. And so for each position, you get two sets of metrics, really. On the left side, you get metrics which are relevant to your own LP position. So the current assets, the invested assets, withdrawn, and the difference between this. You get claimed and unclaimed rewards and the dollar value of this. Gas costs for any transaction involving this pool, and your current LP tokens, which will also include any LP tokens that could be staked in any arbitrary contract. And on the right side, you get metrics which are relevant to the pool itself. So you get the 3-day volume, the 3-day reserves, and the volume to reserve ratio. This is a trend you want to be on top of because it'll give you an idea of in which direction the fees you are capturing from the pool might go. You want to see it ideally go up and to the right. And you also get the prices for the underlying assets and the price divergence, which is another thing you want to be mindful of because it'll give you an idea of which direction your divergence those might go. This one you want to see well as flat as possible or to revert back down. And the position log gives you just links to all the relevant transactions, so the mints, any possible LP transfer out, claimed rewards, any contract your LP tokens might be currently or previously staked at. The pool history will just show you a nicer visualization of all the pool metrics explained before. And as I said, you can get the same for any historical exited position, in which case the asset value will be 0 because all the assets have been withdrawn, but you still get your P&Ls and you get your staking rewards and like a historic position log for that pool. If you go to our About page, you can get a more in-depth explanation of how we gather all this data, how we compute the different metrics. And so what's next is obviously integrating into different exchanges, building an index of pool by different metrics like P&L or price divergence to manage entry and exiting positions directly from our UI. There's also an idea of offering a way to hedge for divergence loss with on-chain options and alerts based on your positions P&L. And that's all. Please check us out. We're live and on the mainnet at revert.finance. And thank you. This has been great fun.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And that's great. We'll have you do a, we'll just kind of have you wait for the Q&A and we'll get on to asking a lot of questions, some that I personally have here. Next up, we have Coinfu, and I'll have RJ come and kick us off with his demo.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm RJ, and I'm here to present Coinfu.io. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, so first of all, let me start with the motivation. So just imagine if banks have all their data publicly available. I mean, for traditional finance, that might sound like a security risk, right? But that's what makes Ethereum so valuable. Protocols built with transparency in mind. Data is trustless, verifiable, and open for everyone to see, and more importantly, to use. The problem, though, is, unfortunately, there is a huge amount of data to sift through if you want to understand what's happening. Searching for data is no easy task, and users are often overwhelmed. This leaves most actionable opportunities for developers and their bots. What about retail investors? What about people just entering the ecosystem? Will they forever be at a disadvantage? So the solution is automation. It already exists in the outside world through Zapier and if. Yeah, Coinfu.io helps you gain control by letting you build and attach automated tasks to cryptocurrency events. So how does it work? It consumes and transforms blockchain data to a universal format, which can be sent to third-party applications. It enables users to build tasks on their own through an intuitive user interface, and it runs tasks automatically when conditions are met or certain events occur. So let me go through a quick demo of what I've built. So over here on the website, I'm just going to click on the dashboard. So over here, there are 3 sections. So the create task, all the tasks you've created, and sort of like task monitoring to see what your tasks have been doing in the background. So for the purpose of this demo, let's quickly explore some integrations I've added. So over here, we have like Uniswap, and then we, based on like these events like token purchase or token pair creation, you'll be able to get all of these data. But to complete, for the spirit of MarketMake, let's also check out Aave. So Aave, over here, once you've selected the app, you can select an action. So over here, new liquidation opportunity. I'm going to click on that. And over here, underneath that input field are some information related to that event. So if I click on next, you can choose to send the data to various third-party apps. For example, on Google Sheets, you can send that to and create like a cell or an entry. But let's send that to Twitter. So over here on Twitter, I'm going to select send tweet. That has pre-populated my Twitter account. And it has also pre-populated the message that you can add. So for example, here, you can add more data, other stuff like that. To go through like an example of a task that has actually run, let me go quickly to this currently running task. So this one is just a sort of like a task that monitors smart contract function calls. So over here, I'm actually watching the FDAI vault from Harvest Finance. Every time it over here, yeah. So every time a smart contract function call, a method is called, then it's going to send a tweet. So for an instance, when this actually occurred, I'm going to go over here. Over here is all the data that has been sort of like parsed and processed. Here on the smart contract function call side, you can see I've parsed the function name, the function caller, all of that. And on Twitter, the tweet that I sent out. And the final output of the entire task, automated task, is this one. So yes, that strategy was called in Harvest Finance FDAI smart contract. And these are the inputs, which points to the new vault strategy. Yeah, so So the next steps for Coinfu.io, if you want to be a part of it, so just sign up on the website to get notified once the beta is available. And also send me a tweet and tell me what integration or feature you want next. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me. Yeah, bye.
Amazing. Thanks, RJ. We have a lot of questions for this one. So we'll move on to our last demo for the infrastructure category, and that is Dawson, who's going to talk about Claimable. And after that, we'll kind of do a group Q&A and have our judges ask any questions or give feedback. So Dawson, whenever you're ready, feel free to kick us off.
Hey everyone. As an early adopter of DeFi, you get rewarded with free airdrops. If you use Uniswap before September 2020, you have thousands of dollars waiting for you to claim. But how would you know?
Hey, Dawson,
where do you go?
Video, the screen share stopped in case that was.
That's expected. You can see me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you go? When are these tokens available for you? You'd spend a lot of time on DeFi Twitter, Reddit, listening to crypto podcasts, and just hoping you don't miss these airdrop announcements. But no, not anymore. My name is DeFi Dawson. I live in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I'm missing a really good day of powder skiing to tell you about this. So let's jump into the demo. So here we are on Claimable. This is a live website that you can visit, claimable.vercel.app. On here, what we're going to do is paste in an Ethereum address and see what do we have for free waiting to go claim. On this address, looks like we have $8,000 of Uni, 3,000 of 1inch, and this POAP token, which I will get into later. So far, I've only jumped into the airdrops. What you can do here, pop them open. And then claim them right away if your internet's faster than mine. But it's loading these 3 links. There you go. So here's the POAP claiming. This is for being a Genesis depositor on ETH2, being a validator. This is Uniswap. Again, that was $8,000 just simply linked to you like this. And every demo so far, the judges have found more than $5,000 during my demo. So if you haven't used the site yet, I really recommend it for every single DeFi user. So that was the first address. Pretty simple, right? How about this? When you have this much use of DeFi, it's hard to keep track of all that you do. But with this tool, you can easily go and see what you have available to claim. So in this one, now we have the addition, we have Curve token, and we've got 3 POAPs. Now that we've got 3, I'm gonna explain to you what a POAP is. Sorry, I didn't mention initially, I know. More free stuff coming at you, I'm sorry. So on here, a POAP is a proof of active participation, which means you took part in something that was historical in the world of Ethereum. And on the POAP site, you can go and claim these by pasting in your address. Now, what's really cool about this tool is that even on the POAP site, when you want to claim a POAP, you need to go into each and every one of these to check. So for POAPs alone, this tool is way better than what's out there. And that's ignoring the hundreds of thousands of dollars this has already helped people go claim. Now, one of the founders of POAP, I was messaging them on Twitter, and they said within 24 hours of launching this, 20% of all their POAPs had been claimed for Wi-Fi. So this is making a massive splash within the community of folks don't know what's available. None of us do. It's hard to keep on top of all this. And so we need tools like this to simplify it. Let's do a few quick addresses, and then we'll move on to the rest. Here we go. This person is a massive kingpin in DeFi. Over $700,000 to claim. And imagine if this person didn't know about their airdrops. Also, not just addresses, we also support ENS domain names. That's xyz.eth. There's many other .lux. And then last but not least, we have to pay homage to the founder of it all, Vitalik, with one mysterious airdrop of Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash is an anonymous protocol, so I find this pretty funny that Vitalik.eth has only this as his airdrop. As mentioned, since launching, folks have found at least 100 grand through this. I have doubled my Twitter followers, and I'm getting messages from several different protocols helping them launch their tokens. This is an estimate though, because I'm not a man in the middle. I don't actually know what folks are claiming because of what the security practices are here. So you can trust that when you're using this platform, your data is not logged. Each claim is directly to those protocols. And you may not have noticed, but there was a subscribe button. When you use this site, right now you're a one-time user. It's been useful for $100,000 worth, but the real power comes in the future. I'll email you when future airdrops match your address, cutting out all of the hubbub and all of the spammy postings people do with these airdrops. It's hard to filter through some of these ones that are sign up here, retweet it, share it with your friends, and you might get $17 with the $8,000 uni airdrop that you might have waiting for you to go claim. I will stay focused and only alert people of the important ones. And folks trust that. They can see that in the UI and the design and the care I put into this, because there's over 4,200 people on the email list in just under 4 days. I launched this during the Super Bowl. And I imagine this is probably one of the largest private data sets of Ethereum addresses to email addresses. So it's critical that I respect everyone's privacy here who wants to take part in this. The web app, again, does not log any of this. The 4,200 is if you signed up with your email address. And here's where it gets really exciting. People want notifications for the right things. The anonymous nature of crypto means there's otherwise no easy way to communicate with your users, but Claimable fills that need. As of Friday, I'm full-time on Claimable. The future of this is going to be a new way to communicate with DeFi users and launch directly to them. I'm adding more and more airdrops every day, so if you'd like distribution or communication that will deliver value to DeFi users, let me know. And again, if you haven't used it yet, try it out at claimable.vercel.app. You never know, you might have thousands of dollars waiting. And for all partnership requests or investing, find my information at dosbot.com. Thank you for your time.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And congrats to all 4 teams in the infrastructure category who just presented. We'll ask, what I'll do is I'll ask all of the teams here to turn their cameras on, and we'll just do a really good big gallery view of everybody here and jump into our Q&A. So I'll start off with a comment by just saying that a lot of the things we just saw were live, and not only that, it's been the intent of every team here to let others use it, and most of them also want to continue building this thing, especially it doesn't when you talked about being full-time on this. So to me, that's just an amazing trend to see. This just kind of makes it a lot more possible for us to kind of keep pushing new and interesting tools for others to use as well. And with that, I'll see if any of our judges have questions or comments or any feedback.
I'll hop in there. First of all of these projects were super, super fantastic. I'm like blown away. I feel like every time I come to one of these hackathons, the projects just keep getting better and better. But Revert, I have a question for Revert. So I'm curious, what's the methodology you're using to check for liquidity pool tokens? I saw that you're kind of like running a script in the beginning. Are you checking every pair? Is that process happening on chain? I'm just kind of curious, like how you decided to implement that.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it's a difficult problem. So what we first do is, check the unigraph, in this case subgraph, from the graph, and that gives you any snapshot of any position that account has had. And from there, we just go and check for all the transactions relevant to those pools and that account, and you get all the mints, all the burns. And this way you avoid the issue of if the LP tokens are held in some staking contract, then they won't be in the balance, but they're still owned by that account. So yeah, that's our solution.
Okay, cool. And if it's taking from the subgraph, does that mean it's checking for the untracked? I mean, there's a lot of untracked stuff that maybe would not show up in the subgraph. I'm just curious, can people basically add? So let's say they created their own pool, right? And it's not tracked by the subgraph yet. Can they manually add their liquidity pool tokens, or how do you manage that situation where the search basically misses something?
Well, I hadn't actually run into that specific issue. But yeah, if it's not included in this, I mean, we know that the subgraph won't have, like I mentioned, the ones that are staked, right? But it'll still show you the snapshot. But yeah, if there's like a new pool that hasn't been tracked yet by the subgraph, and that time between it gets indexed, it won't appear. Yeah.
Okay, cool, great job. This tool looks amazing. I'm going to be using it for sure.
Thank you.
I'll just echo and say these projects were really amazing, and a bunch of them I'm going to be using myself. So for FlashSuite, I just wanted to understand how often are the price differences updated for the arbitrage tool? So like trying to understand just like whether or not I know if an arbitrage opportunity is like outdated or not. Just curious on that.
Yeah, so at the moment it's quite manual, but the idea was to add something to refresh it maybe every 5 seconds or so, but also manually if you want to check. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
I would piggyback and ask a question about FlashSuite. And everyone did a great job, by the way, of course. So have you tested this out with the results? Like, I mean, obviously you're seeing what it should be, and there's an arbitrage opportunity to make a profit. But I'm curious if, you know, when the rubber hits the road, if you're actually able to get one.
Yeah, no. So for a bit of context, we're all very excited about using flash loans for arbitrage and other use cases. And I think we have bitten off a bit more than we could chew in 3 weeks. So for arbitrage, we actually realized that the first step would be to identify the opportunities. So that's why we built this UI tool. But unfortunately, we didn't have the time to build smart contracts to actually execute the arbitrage trades. But it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just going to be honest with you, a little bit skeptical that this would be defensible long term, right? Because as soon as you open source a tool like this, everyone's going to start using it, and it's going to obviously get quite competitive. But I love what else you're doing. That flash post, you know, using credit delegation and being able to migrate. I've found myself doing this manually, and yeah, I'd love for you guys to continue building it if you want.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, for sure.
I could say that yeah, first of all, congratulations for everyone. I mean, it's always like a pretty fun event, participating in hackathon and learning things. And I mean, we're definitely in a unique environment, and there's so much things to being built. And I think the quality of the hacks has been very very good. I have a question for Claimable. Like I think like this is a very interesting kind of like a you know, tool, because even like, especially like how DeFi was last year, people were participating in every kind of things, and you know, there's a lot of interesting rewards, and probably in the future will be even more as the NFT economy starts to evolve a bit, and different protocols projects are going to reward more their users. And I think like POAP has been doing pretty well that, and I think this claiming something with your address is pretty neat, and maybe it could actually even evolve into a place and so some sort of a kind of like a venue where, you know, you actually, you know, invite some community. You know, it could be, let's say, everyone who holds, let's say, Aavegotchi, or, you know, a certain rarity of Aavegotchi, or hash masks, and and practically you could reward, and that could be the venue that people could come to, and they find something interesting there. And getting something like that could be pretty cool. It really takes time to that people get find it there, and you get partners to launch. But I think it's a very neat thing, because like normally you would have to find those opportunities, but here you could actually see what's going on, and you know, claim things and look at new opportunities. It's a nice way to invite communities and get projects to create all kinds of rewards. So definitely that's pretty cool.
Thank you. Was there a question in there?
Yeah, there's a question there as well. Practically, something I noticed. Actually, I was claiming. I think it was uni tokens, but then I was actually surprised that I have a lot to claim. Went to claim, but it was already claimed because I don't know. The app doesn't show yet if you have already claimed something, right?
Correct.
Same thing happened to me.
Yeah,
that's probably the most requested feature at this point. Luckily, it makes for better screenshots, but it does not make for, some folks do get frustrated as well, or scared, or something that maybe their money got stolen. So yes, for all the users, this is also stated in the footer that what you currently see is all airdrops you have ever been able to claim, regardless of if you have already claimed them. And then, I wanted to add one last thing, Stani, on what you were mentioning. This email list mashed together with open source intelligence means that if you want to email all of the early uni users, I've got a subset of them. If you want to email all of the early Tornado Cash users, I've got a subset of that as well. Because if you mash together the email addresses with the open source intelligence, you can infer these types of things. So as I was mentioning, with really responsible practices here, and only treating these email addresses with full respect and not ever spamming, I think this, who knows what it could become. Anytime I'm delivering real value is when, I think sending an email is worth it at that point.
Yeah, I guess the kind of challenge always is for protocol builders and so forth that, that you want to collect as least data as possible, but, I think what's important to give people options. And if you want to subscribe and, what data you collect and how, it's important. And one interesting thing is that you could actually list future events. That could be an interesting way to promote certain projects as well.
Just wanted to piggyback. Claimable is great. I just found $5,000 of 1 inch that I didn't know that I had. So that's cool. Yeah, don't tell Hayden that I ever traded 1 inch. But yeah, this is that I had was how do you make sure you're covering a search for all airdrops? Are you manually adding searches for different airdrops? For example, one of the dress that I just claimed with, I know that there was also a mirror airdrop to it recently, and that's not showing up on Claimable. So I'm just curious, what's your process?
Yeah, great question. That's the second most requested feature so far, which is there are a few large airdrops that were they didn't have open source data on. And so the amount of effort to add mirror, for instance, is hours to days. And what that is next on my list, and what is cool about that is that the entire process is different. It's not it's not an open sourceable CSV file that says who got what in mirror. And so now I can run the email signups through that and email you when this launches. So yeah, that is next up.
Awesome. Thanks.
And then for Coinfu, I was just really curious to understand, what do you think are going to be some of the most interesting or popular use cases for this?
Yeah, so there's a lot, right? Like, for example, for UMA protocol, it actually relies on people doing the liquidations and also the disputes. Pretty much any protocol that requires community participation. Yeah, I think this would be useful for them. Also, as an example, whenever, for example, vaults for Yearn or for Harvest, whenever they change to a different strategy, I believe that all users should be notified of that new strategy if they're part of that vault. I mean, that's just pretty obvious, I think, for me.
Cool, thanks.
I've got a question for Revert, which is, do you plan to continue working on this? And if so, what different ways would you take it?
Yeah, I'm also full time on this, and yeah, hopefully the team will grow, and the directions to take it is to make it more useful. Like right now, it's just really at the demo stage, being handling only one exchange. So the next obvious steps are iterating our exchanges, and also just iterating rapidly, getting feedback from users. And well, I feel like this is a tool that hadn't existed yet because, well, AMMs hadn't existed exactly. So it's sort of like a type of discovery product iteration, I think, what we have in front of us.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, as you think about this more and more, I run an analytics newsletter, and like LP ops, I think, is a theme that I'd love to cover. So if you're ever interested in that, please reach out.
I'm a huge fan of our network. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I think inspired by Spencer's original comment earlier for FlashArb, we have a question from our live chat from Alessandro, and the question is for FlashArb, and the question is, in case you thought about this thing, would the DApp will be able to connect with DEX running on layer 2s, and or is there any limitations on how you think this would work when layer 2 integrations are possible? Are there any limitations? Have you thought about that? People are curious to get your take on this.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question, but we haven't thought that far yet. We were more focused on getting price data, identifying the ARB opportunities, and then being able to execute them as non-technical users, and then also maybe automate some of those arbitrage like bots do, and being able to set that up with a few parameters.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that was helpful for Alessandro. I'll give another minute or so in case there are any last questions or comments. I am particularly excited to see that all these things are soon to be ready for everybody else to use. Some of them already are. And this should be a pretty fun next few months for everybody to try out all these tools. I think that somebody kind of mentioned this at the beginning of this session. The fact that everything is public is a great benefit, because that means everybody can have their own version of what they would like to see and prioritize, and that is just an amazing opportunity that doesn't exist in any other domain. So whether it's claiming airdrops or seeing a really detailed summary of how a particular position is on a particular platform, or finding out every arbitrage opportunity that could exist, I don't think you get to see that anywhere else, and this just makes the whole ecosystem even more powerful. So congrats, everybody. And what we'll do is we'll get all of you to turn your cameras off, and we'll go on to our second group for the demos. So I want to thank all of you for presenting and doing everything live. It's definitely not easy to make this work live and getting it right the first and the only time. And this is awesome. So with that said, we are ready for our second group, and that is lending and DeFi specific hacks. So a common theme here is that a lot of it is adding and extending features of the Aave protocol. And for the lending category, we have 4 projects. A mobile app for Aave is our first demo. Then we have LevAave, Hush, and AAVEtrage. And all 4 of these teams will be coming on and showcasing what they've done. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mobile App for Aave to demo their hack.
Hi everyone, I'm Aavegotchi and I'm here to present mobile app on Aave. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Let me just... So, hi everyone, this is Aave on mobile, and this is our hack for MarketMake 2021. So let's get started. Teams. I'm Aavegotchi, the iOS and Android engineer for this project, and with me I have Eric, who's a backend engineer. So let's talk about the opportunity. Coinbase mobile app has 15 million downloads. Look at Binance, over 10 million downloads. This shows that there is a significant demand for mobile apps. But when we look at Aave solution, it's strictly website based, but it has a staggering TVL of $5 billion. Assuming a 2x penetration, a native mobile app for Aave actually represents another opportunity for $5 billion. And that is why we have created a native iOS and Android app for Aave, and it works on mainnet. It's not a web view or a dApp browser. It's a native app that works on mainnet. And it supports all on-chain transactions. I'm talking about deposit, withdraw, borrow, repay, switching of interest type, collateral settings. We have also partnered up with 1inch to provide swap services in case the user does not have the tokens which are supported by Aave. Our app also supports transferring of tokens, creating and importing of Ethereum wallets. The app itself is built with an infinitely scalable architecture. We have created the Aave REST APIs from scratch. Each API endpoint talks to a microservice, which is also serverless, and that microservice talks to the Aave smart contract. And since everything is serverless, scalability is not an issue here, and this could be scaled up to the global level. And it's demo time. So assuming that the user has already imported their wallet, let's go to the wallet details and look at their Aave positions. So as we can see, he has 2 deposits, one of WBTC and one of WETH, and he has 1 loan of KNC, and his health factor is currently 1.8. So now let's go to the Aave market info screen. Here we can see all of the tokens which are supported by Aave. Let's dig into one of them. Let's go to ETH. The Aave protocol currently has 365 million of ETH earning at 0.24% interest. The available liquidity is 175,000. Total borrowed amount is 28,000. The deposit yield is 0.24%. The variable borrow rate is 1.79%. The stable borrow rate is 5.23%. Now, all of these statistics, they are coming from the Aave smart contract via our API, and it's nearly real time. Let's look at the swap section. Here we have used 1inch in the backend to provide the best exchange rate with all the DEXs. And let's go to the transaction part. And every transaction on this application is a 2-step process. First is review, second is confirm. So now let's try to deposit 0.5 ETH in Aave. I enter 0.5. I hit review. And in the review screen, you can see the amount to deposit is 0.5 ETH. And the USD equivalent is $895 and the gas fees. And as soon as I hit confirm, the transaction will be immediately broadcasted on mainnet. So let me go ahead and do that. So I hit confirm. And you can see it says successfully deposited 0.5 ETH to Aave. Let's go to Etherscan to check the transaction. It's still mining, so let me complete this demo first. We'll look into it later. I click done. So let's go to the withdraw section. And here we can see, since the user has deposited only WBTC and WETH, he can only withdraw those. And here also we let the user withdraw a max so that his health factor stays above 1.06. I click max. Again, it's the same process, review and confirm. Then I go to the borrow section. Here we can see all of the tokens which are supported by Aave. Let me choose, let's say, KNC. If I click max here also, I let the user borrow a max so that his health factor stay above 1.06, in this case 1.07. The user can choose between the stable or variable interest rate. Then also it's the same thing, review and confirm. So you can see the review screen, amount to borrow, 17,243 KNC. Then I go to the repay section. Here I can see the user has 1 loan of KNC, 25,000 KNC, and he has 28,000 KNC in his wallet. So we can repay all of that loan instantly. So if I click max, I click review and I hit confirm, it's going to be broadcasted in the mainnet immediately. Now we have 2 more transactions. First one is switching of interest type from stable to variable or variable to stable for any loan. And at the end, we have collateral settings in case the user does not want to use any of their deposit as collateral. So that's it for the demo side. Let me head back to the presentation real quick. And we actually look forward to work with Aave team to grab this amazing opportunity and improve the penetration of Aave protocol by releasing the official mobile app on both Play Store and iOS App Store. Both of the apps for Android and iOS are production ready. We would actually be very happy if we could release our APIs to public so that other developers could build on our APIs as well. So let's go back to that transaction real quick. There is a transaction. It says 2 minutes ago. It said success. And I can see deposit to ETH on Aave. So that's it from our side. That's it for the presentation. Thank you.
Amazing. That was a live mainnet demo that went through on time. So that's just, to me, the best thing about this, and on top of the amazing things you've done. So I'm sure there's a handful of questions here, but we'll move on to our next demo, and we'll do a few of them back to back. So next up is LevAave, and I'll have Marco go and present the demo.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Team LevAave. We are a group of passionate engineers hailing from UK and India. Marco here is from the UK, while me and Vamsi are from India. Let's have a quick look at the current market scenario. Current leveraging protocols are centered around power users and have a quite and complex, mostly complex, confusing UX for a user. The users need to establish trust on these protocols, and it's not easy to trust. They support only a handful of tokens and with limited liquidity. Enter LevAave. LevAave features a very simple UX developed to empower its users with simplicity at its core value. It comes with a very high trust factor backed by Aave's leading security and trust. It supports multiple tokens which can be matched and paired to leverage any asset supported by Aave with deep liquidity. On LevAave, users can open, manage, and close multiple long and short positions with just a few clicks. Users can monitor their current health factor. They can also keep an eye out for the estimated health factor before opening a position. And while power users can enable advanced settings for the swap powered by the 1inch API. Now let's go ahead and quickly look at the protocol. In this protocol, let's say the user wants to go 3x long on link. He deposits 1 WETH to us. We take a quick flash loan of 2 WETH. We exchange the 3 WETH for link using 1inch. We deposit the equivalent amount of, let's say in this case, 200 link on Aave and borrow 2 WETH plus the flash loan premium, and we repay the flash loan. At the end of this transaction, the user is left with 200 A-Link tokens and a debt of 2 WETH against it, virtually opening his position on Aave. Now Marco will go ahead and give us a quick demo of the app.
Everyone, this is our application running on forked mainnet at the moment. On the left side, you can see the interface to open the positions, while on the right side, you can see and manage your open position. Here, we can input the amount of collateral that we want to use for the trade, and we can choose which asset we will use. Here, we can choose which asset we are open the position we are taking the leverage position on. For this example, we use link. And here we have the spot swap price based on the collateral that we choose. And here the number of A tokens that we will receive, which is based on the amount of leverage. We can customize the slippage tolerance, and we can also see the estimated health factor that we will have after we open our position. Just a few seconds, okay. Here is MetaMask. We confirm our trade. And here we can see our open position with few information. Here we have our overall health factor on Aave, and with just one simple click, we can close our position. In our platform, we can also take short position. And for this demo, we'll open a short position with a leverage of 1. Again, using WETH as collateral on shorting link. So let's refresh this. And again, with just one transaction, we open the trade and we have it here. And again, we can close it easily with just one click. Banu now will tell you about our future plans.
Yeah. So in future, we want to show detailed data about the open positions and enable history management for them. We want to enable ease of mind for our users by automating the stop loss and take profit features. We want to optimize the gas costs, and we want to implement the Chi gas tokens to further save cost. We want to implement the complete advanced settings feature for swaps, and this is mainly for the power users. Then we also want to provide data and statistics of all these tokens to enable better decision making by our users. Optionally, maybe later on, we'll also be creating some synthetic tokens for the open positions where the user can keep a track of these positions easily. So that's it, guys. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was a really cool demo. We'll move on to our next demo, and I'll ask all of you to just stick around and hang out in this chat. So without further ado, let's welcome Hush Hush to kick off with their project.
So hi everybody, I'm Lasse and I will be presenting Hush Hush, a scheme for improving anonymity on on-chain savings accounts. So today, if I want to open an on-chain savings account, I can use A tokens directly in my wallet, but this will leak a lot of information every time I do a spending or something like that. I could also use Tornado Cash, but this is quite inconvenient as Tornado Cash has the same amount for withdrawal and deposits. They must be equal. So we propose Hush Hush, which you can think of as a Tornado Cash with a twist. We use same size deposits, but with variable withdrawals. This gives us convenience at the cost of some privacy. So to make this possible, we are using zero knowledge proofs. So for those who don't know, a zero knowledge proof is a proof that proves that something is true without showing you why it is true. An easy example is that I can convince you that I know some private key without revealing the key itself by creating a signature with it. So currently, Hush Hush supports 2 transaction types. So we can do a deposit into the pool. The deposit is done by first the user having the user generate a node off-chain. This node is a secret for the deposit. And then he transfer a hashed node and some A tokens to the contract on-chain. This will update the internal state and this tree. So you can think of the leaves of this tree as being UTXOs and the node being a private key. If you have knowledge of the node, you can spend the deposit. The other type of interaction is a withdrawal. And the withdrawal is a bit more complex than the deposit. So to withdraw from the contract, you have to have knowledge of the node. The user will then run a local snark proof where he provides the node, a receiver address, the amount to withdraw from the pool, a fee, and a new node, which is used for representing the change amount. He provides this to the prover. Behind the scenes, the proof that is generated here will ensure that there's no cheating is occurring. The prover will also create a nullifier, which ensures that we cannot double spend the node. When the proof is created, we will send this to a relayer, who will then run the transaction on-chain. This is done to ensure that the spender's identity is not leaked when he is publishing the proof. If the proof is valid, the nullifier will invalidate the old node, meaning that he cannot spend it again, and the change node is inserted into the tree. The user will then, the receiver will then receive the A tokens that was withdrawn, and a fee will be given to the relayer for his services. So for the demo, we have a command line interface, and we will be doing a withdrawal. So earlier today, we made a couple of deposits. So we have these 2 deposits. And if I just pick this one, I will initially here have a withdrawal of a small amount, a fee, and a receiver. We set all of these values prior to the test just to ensure that we don't have to fiddle with that now. Then we can see here the spender of the funds, and here that is the proof of this node, and then we can see who we are relaying through. So the transaction should be live now, so we should be able to go to EtherScan, and then we can see the deposit here. So if we look here, we can see the address of the relayer is the from, and the only it is only the contract who is actually transferring funds. He's transferring to the receiver and then the fee to the relayer. So for future work, we would like to have a proper browser interface to make it more accessible. And then we have to do an MPC for the trusted setup for the snark, and possibly look into using Plonk for universal setup. Then we have to have set up a relay network, and we would like to look into in-pool transactions, meaning that you can transfer to someone else in the pool without funds ever leaving the pool. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lasse. That's great. I think there's a handful of interesting things that will be possible in this thing. So we'll ask some of those questions in the Q&A section. But before that, we'll move on to our third demo for this category, and that is Project AAVEtrage. So whenever you're ready, Andrew, feel free to demo.
Awesome. Yeah. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So my name is Andrew Schmitz. I am from St. Louis, Missouri.
And I'm William Fan from Ottawa, Canada.
And today we're excited to present our project, AAVEtrage. So simply put, AAVEtrage is a dashboard focused on interest rate arbitrage. So within Aave, you have a variety of different stablecoins and a variety of different markets, each of which allows you to deposit and borrow these assets for different rates. Having all these options available opens the door for arbitrage, where you can borrow an asset cheaply from one place, swap it, and deposit it for a higher rate elsewhere. And the key feature we wanted to build around this is allowing users to enter a leveraged arbitrage position by using flash loans for a single transaction. And sort of our big picture goal here is just to create an application that helps people effectively utilize their borrowing power to generate additional yield within Aave. So how do we do this? Well, we start with our homepage, which is completely dedicated to showing people where these opportunities exist. So we start by showing people the best overall arbitrage across all different markets, and then we separate this out for version 2. So in Aave version 2, you can use flash loans to interact with your positions, and this opens the door for leverage. And then we also give a table view of all of the different stablecoin rates and market combinations. And then in our portfolio is where people can actually utilize these things. So we start off by showing people their currently available balances and borrowing power. And then we give them a breakdown of the deposits and borrows that they have available for each market. And then we have this action panel. Currently, a lot of these are under construction, but what we did build for this hackathon is the AAVEtrage interface, which allows you to first select an asset that you want to borrow. I'll select the cheapest, and then select where you want to deposit it. I will pick USDC in version 2. And if you select an asset that is available as collateral in version 2, this leverage happens automatically in the interface. So what's happening here is that the user would be taking out a flash loan of SUSD, swapping it into USDC, depositing it as collateral in Aave version 2, and then incurring this as debt. So the reason this is useful for the user is sort of what this diagram depicts, which is that you could do this same process in Aave version 1. It's just that you'd have to borrow and deposit multiple times, which is very cost prohibitive. And with flash loans, you can do this in a single transaction. So I'll let Will explain this a little bit more.
Thanks, Andrew. So without AAVEtrage, the user has to manually deposit collateral in Aave, take out a borrow, swap the borrow asset for a collateral asset through a market like Uniswap, and then finally deposit the swapped asset again as collateral. The user will then have to repeat this loop until either their borrowing power is maxed out or their desired leverage is achieved. We found that for the highest loan-to-value markets, the point of diminishing returns is about 5 loops. So this ends up costing about 3.5 million gas. And with AAVEtrage, AAVEtrage allows us to bypass the need for running the loop on the previous slide by securing the entire borrow amount through an Aave flash loan. This means AAVEtrage can utilize the user's entire borrowing power with only one transaction and at 1/6 the gas cost compared to the previous method. Also, thanks to V2's debt incurring flash loans and credit delegation features, users don't need to deploy any personal smart contracts and only need to make the necessary token approvals in order to start using AAVEtrage. So here's an example AAVEtrage transaction. The user starts with collateral deposited in Aave, and here they have 120,000 DAI. And next, the user calls the AAVEtrage contract, specifying their desired borrow amount. And finally, when the transaction is complete, the user incurs the flash loan as debt, as well as additional collateral, which is now collecting yield. So even though the final net APY is lower than when we started, the capital base is much larger. If you compare the interest earned and paid against the original collateral of 127,000 DAI, the APY is actually closer to 15%. And also notice that by carrying out this arbitrage, we effectively halved the spread between the deposit and borrow rates. This is ultimately good for the lending markets as it leads to less fragmented rates across the board. And I'll hand it back to Andrew to talk about the future.
Yeah, so on the future note, so the first thing is obviously refining and testing these smart contracts. So currently the AAVEtrage is not live on mainnet, but we're currently working on getting all these things finished up so we can launch that interface on mainnet. Then finally adding full portfolio functionality. So being able to do the same things you can do natively in Aave today. The second thing is, the interest rate spread, the volatility is really a limiting factor for this. And so we think it'd be an awesome idea to integrate stable yield opportunities like Barnbridge or 88 MPH. You can get predictable returns. And then finally, AAVEtrage doesn't have to be exclusive to stablecoins. It could work with any asset that's available as collateral in Aave. So ETH, WRAP, BTC are probably the two biggest ones. With that, encourage everybody to check out the interface that we built already, and special shout out to all of the people that made this possible. Thanks.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And this was our last demo for this category. So we'll do as a last call of our team to turn their cameras on, and we'll go into our Q&A. And I'll kind of start off by sort of making a comment for Hush. I think the previous section talked about all the amazing things you can do when everything is public and accessible for everybody to interpret in different ways. And then Hush is making it possible for people to retain some of their privacy, which we will all agree that that is needed. So I'm particularly interested in seeing how we can actually merge this thing, whether it's being able to hide some of our asset balances or governance decisions or votings. But to me, that's a really interesting world that we're going to see this year. So that's a super interesting theme. And also thanks for doing a really amazing job at explaining how you're doing the privacy and, as you can acknowledge, ZKP stuff on live demo. So that's my comment. I'll see if any of our judges have any questions or feedback.
Yeah, adding to the financial privacy part, I'm a huge fan of that. And I think what you're building with Hush Hush is awesome. I just want to understand, like, how long would it normally take to do a withdrawal without the previous inputs or proof generated, since I know that can take quite a while?
So the proof were not generated previously.
Okay, so the other inputs.
So we just made a deposit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason to not do it live were that we have to do a transaction for it.
Okay, so
it's just to cut that.
So the withdrawal process, that's actually like how long it would have taken?
Yeah, this was a real withdrawal.
That's amazing.
But this tree is rather small currently, so it would be longer.
Okay.
But there has been a lot of progress on that part, so we can actually use WASM to compile or to make the proof, which is a lot faster than it was just last year.
Well, that's amazing. Thanks.
I have a question for mobile app for Aave. First of all, the app looks really good. What you guys have put together looks really clean, and I will definitely be checking it out. I'm curious though, like mobile app development with smart contracts, I've heard is quite tough. What challenges did you guys run into as you were putting this together?
So I'll take that question. So again, it was very difficult for us is to basically sync up the mobile with the smart contract, and that's why we have to introduce a layer in between. But then introducing a layer means we are potentially adding some of the points where the app can fail. So we figure out like how do we make it serverless, and that's why we're focusing so much on serverless. Right now we deployed everything on Google Cloud. So, and then we have checked it. Before that, I've worked into another centralized exchange. The technology is highly scalable. So our challenge was, first of all, this one. And the second one is that because there's no MetaMask available, we have to provide some additional functionality like creating a wallet. And if you allow user to create a wallet, then we have to also allow user to export the wallet, and then also guiding him that private key has to be safe. So there's a lot of education has to go in the app. Probably we didn't get the time to show us, but we have built already everything in it, and then also fetching the rate of every token. Luckily, Aave support only like 20. Right now we just hook up to 1-inch API for code, but we are planning to move it to TWAP from Uniswap. I think that's pretty reliable in terms of pricing. And also
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, we do plan to move to TWAP from Uniswap. That's pretty reliable. And also the other thing is that for Aave specifically, let's say if you, as we can see that the user has multiple position and he has a borrowed position as well. Now, if he wants to borrow more, how much we should allow to make sure that his health factor is not getting liquidated, and when he's trying to deposit more, how his health factor will change. So all those sort of calculation. Where are we going to do this calculation, on the mobile app or in the middle layer or at the smart contract level? So these were some of the challenges that we faced. And of course, the last challenge is to getting released on iOS App Store because Apple is not allowing.
Yeah. Good luck with that one. That's always fun. Always fun. I'm more and more convinced that we need to like create our own crypto phones, you know, so we can get rid of the tyranny of these app stores. But anyway, great work. Looks good.
Yeah, I've got a question for AAVEtrage. Cool name. I think it's a really useful app. I'm curious, what's the most underappreciated aspect of this project or build that you guys did?
Well, I guess I would say sort of the most underappreciated aspect is that, you know, it lets people get yield, you know, and only expose themselves to Aave. You know, a lot of people trust the Aave smart contracts. They've built up that reputation over time, but I think that a lot of people just don't really know how to utilize their borrowing power to actually generate yield. And so with our project, we really wanted to just keep the risk scope limited to Aave and provide people with just an easy opportunity to earn yield with their borrowing power. So I think that's sort of the underrated aspect, is sort of, you know, how simple the risk scope is for the project.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. You should try to find a way to get in touch with the founder. He might be on the call.
I don't know who he is. I've never met him.
Founder who? Yeah, I mean, that was pretty interesting. Like, there was like 30. I saw USDC at 33% or something. So kind of like it seems that DeFi has grown to the extent that kind of like now the degen liquidity is pretty much sitting everywhere, and it's I think the whole space needs to somehow to scale, but those rates are pretty high. And I think what's interesting about this arbitrage is that, especially like in the Aave, our idea is to create multiple markets, so you could actually arbitrage between markets. And it's interesting there because some of the markets has less risk, might be just, you know, there might be only ETH as a collateral in one market. In another market, you might have Uniswap liquidity provider shares as a collateral. And it's interesting to see like what will be the differences in rates. So that's something I'm looking forward.
Yeah, that was sort of a big goal of our project, is like Will said, you know, it's sort of advantageous for the protocol. You know, having an option like this will allow people to easily sort of bridge those arbitrage opportunities. But like you said, you know, different markets, different collateral types, you know, they all have different risk profiles and different use cases. And so those interest rates will naturally vary a little bit. And so, you know, having a platform where people can easily take advantage of those opportunities, you know, I think could A, generate yield for people, and B, sort of stabilize those rates on Aave.
Yeah, definitely. And also I have one interesting question for LevAave, is that are those like positions tokenized? You know, you have the short position and long position, or not?
No, those positions are not tokenized. They are just the position that the user has basically on the Aave pools. But yeah, as we showed in the presentation, we are thinking that as a future feature, we could add, we could tokenize those positions, as you were saying.
What's interesting there, if you pick an asset, pick a collateral, you have a, let's say, ETH collateral, then you go 1x short on ETH, you practically have a completely flat position. So it's kind of like a way to have a stable position without a stable coin, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this enables our users to trust us a lot more. Since these positions are directly opened on Aave, there is no middleman, there's no option for rug pulling and kind of stuff that's actually a lot prevalent in the community during the last year.
Yeah, definitely. And also for the mobile app for Aave, I think you guys basically did pretty good job. I mean, mobile app, definitely. I mean, mobile experience is very important. And, you know, if you want to continue something like that, you definitely should ask the Aave community for a grant and get a proposal on chain. So that's something could be pretty cool. So, you know, that's amazing.
We'll do that. Thank you.
I want to give a special shout out to Austin Griffiths here. I saw the AAVEtrage team use Scaffold ETH, and it was just one of many other projects we saw at the 130 that use Scaffold ETH to just get started. So I think it's just a lot of work that got put into making that repo possible, so you can just get started on the actual hack and not the initial work of getting everything set up. So
Scaffold ETH.
there we go. It's two. So Austin, I hope you're listening, and I hope this makes you proud and it makes you want to add more things to the repo. I mean, there's some amazing themes here. Some of you are ready to push this to mainnet. There's actions about having some of your privacy and governance decisions being made private and giving those rights back to you. There are attempts to make the distribution a lot wider with having mobile reach on Android and iOS. There are ways for you to go long and short and use leverage with flash loans and just in general with the collateral that you have on the Aave platform. And beyond all that, just arbitrage, which is what most of the DeFi ecosystem is right now in both positive ways and in positive some ways, just being made more accessible to everybody out there. So to me, this is a great sign that we're going to see a lot more applications possible. And I want to congratulate and thank all of you for presenting, and also, again, also from being on making this work on all the different time zones that everybody's in and all the different parts of the world you're coming in from. So congrats again. I hope you keep working, and whenever the projects are ready for others to be used, we'll be happy to let them, we'll share them on our networks and our social media and have others try this out. So congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break for our judges, and in the next 5 to 7 minutes, I'll be going through all of our sponsor prizes for all the teams that have won different things from using some of the APIs from each of our sponsors or protocols. And so we're just going to have everybody turn their videos off here. We'll come back in about 5 or so minutes. And in the meantime, we'll kick off with some of the prizes that we have. And what we've done is we've asked some of our sponsors to make pre-recorded videos where they'll just be able to talk about their prizes, and we'll then be able to reach out to all these teams post announcements. So the first up, our sponsor is Aave, and I'll let the Aave video kick off.
Hey everyone, it's David here. Congrats on completing the Aave MarketMake Hackathon. You're all winners in our eyes. I'll just quickly present the official Aave prize winners in this video. So the prize for best integration of flash loans, that's 2 prizes of 1,500 AUSDC each. That goes to FlashSuite, which is tools for position migration and arbitrage opportunities, as well as AAVEtrage, a dashboard focused on interest rate arbitrage. The next prize of best integration of credit navigation, that's 1,500 AUSDC each. That goes to Stable Yield, which simplifies lending and borrowing on Aave, as well as the lend to protocols, which provides uncollateralized loans to dApps and protocols. Next, we have best integration of V2 governance. Now that's one prize of 1,500 AUSDC, and that goes to Paladin, which is a governance and lending protocol. Next, we have the Avengeneers Award, and that's a prize of 3,000 AUSDC. That goes to Quadratic Treasury, which uses quadratic funding to fund and fundraise for projects in the area of public goods. Next, we have the Most Impactful Award. Now, these are two prizes of 4,000 AUSDC each. So that prize goes to Hush Hush, which is a privacy extension to Aave interest-bearing tokens that supports anonymous savings accounts. And they use cool things like ZK snarks. And also Aave Telemachine, a physical cash liquidity provider. And there were so many fantastic projects that we just had to give a bonus award as well. So the bonus award of 1,500 AUSDC, that goes to Interest Simulator, an interest earned simulator for the Aave deposits and borrows. So congrats once again for making it this far. Congrats to all our prize winners. And also, whether you won a prize or didn't win a prize, and you plan to continue building a project, we would love to see you apply for the grants program. Also, hit us up on Discord with any questions or comments. Awesome.
Amazing. So I'm sure you saw the video talking about all the prizes, but in case that was too quick, I want to just use this and then just repeat some of the teams. So we have Hush Hush, Aave Teller Machine, FlashSuite, AAVEtrage, Stable Yield, Lend to Protocols, Paladin, Quadratic Treasury, and Interest Simulator as the Aave project winners. On top of all of that, every project that used Aave also got 100 AUSDC, and we have over 80 projects that qualified for this prize. So congratulations to all of those teams. And of course, if you want to build more on the Aave ecosystem, you can apply for more and continued funding through the Aave Grants program. So congrats again. We'll be reaching out to all the teams over Discord and email soon. And with that, we are ready to move on to our next sponsor, and that is 1inch.
Hey hackers, here's Sergey, the 1inch CEO and co-founder, and I'm going to announce our bounties from this hackathon. First bounty and $3,000 in 1inch tokens goes to Matic. Thank you guys, you are done really amazing job. Second bounty and $3,000 in 1inch tokens goes to Aave Liquidation Protection Team. You guys are awesome, 100% deserve this prize. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any relevant projects for our third bounty, but we decided to give our open track prize $1,000 to the youngest team, the Contract. Want to support you guys, we all need fresh blood in our industry. Good luck to you and all participants, congratulations to everyone. Keep building, guys. We 1inch team is the best example how you can achieve just by hard work and keep building. And you can just grow from a small hackathon idea to just in 1, maybe 2 years to really a leader in this really young industry, young space, the DeFi space. Keep building, guys.
Amazing. Thanks, Sergey. And just to repeat some of these teams, we have Mantis, Aave Liquidation Protection, and Contract, who are the winners for the 1inch prize. And as Sergey mentioned, 1inch itself is one of the hackathon projects that started off at ETHGlobal, and it is now a very successful protocol in this space. So I want to just encourage all the teams like here to continue building and continue working on and improving and iterating on your projects, and ping us for any help that we can give to get you to where you want to be. And congrats again to all these teams. So next up, we have Chainlink, and now we're going to have their prizes being talked about from Patrick.
Hello, ETHGlobal Hackathoners. We had an awesome event, and we got so many products, and we are so blown away by the creativity, technicality, and prowess of all the projects that were submitted at this hackathon. So it was a really difficult decision, but we have our top 5 winners for the 5 Chainlink prizes of $1,000 in Link each. And those projects are Gearbox, Digi.lab, Audits Are Dead, Whiskey Coin, and Q2T. So congratulations to the top projects for the ETHGlobal Hackathon MarketMake. It was, like I said, it was a fantastic event. It was really, really difficult to choose just a couple of winners. And we're really excited to see everyone continue to learn and grow in this space. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Patrick. And just to repeat some of these teams, we have Gearbox Protocol, DGU.lab, Audits Are Dead, Whiskey Coin, and Quadratic Treasury, who are the winners of the Chainlink Prize. So we'll be getting in touch with all these teams over email and Discord. And with that, I want to move on to our next sponsor, and that is Matic.
Hey guys, I'm Arjun, and I head growth at Polygon. I don't know if you had a chance to sort of look at the news lately, but Matic Network has now rebranded itself to Polygon. And what we've done is we've taken on a broader mandate, a bigger mission to build the Internet of Blockchains for the Ethereum ecosystem. So what we want to do is keep Ethereum at the middle and build a scalability layer around the Ethereum chain, and this would allow you to build. So the Polygon SDK would allow you to build any sort of chain you'd like, whether it's a ZK rollup chain, or optimistic rollup chain. You want to use our current POS Plasma chain. You want to spawn your own chain. So whatever you want to do as a developer, you'll be allowed to do on this, or you'll be able to do on this scalability solution. So I encourage you to read about it. But of course, this short video is not about that. What I really wanted to do today was to just congratulate some of the winners of the MarketMake hackathon, and I just wanted to sort of just walk you through some of the winners who you've chosen for this. So I think the first prize goes to the Matic cross-chain arbitrage solution. So this is a really interesting solution, which I think a lot of users in the DeFi space would really love to use, because it allows you to figure out where exactly the arbitrage opportunity is, and then you can sort of maximize your profit there. So amazing solution. The second one is Sublimate. And what the solution allows you to do is to sort of, it takes content creators and it allows users to stream payments to those content creators when they're sharing their content, when they're doing videos and things like that. And I think with the whole NFT economy booming, I think this is something which a lot of people would find very interesting and very useful. The third prize, of course, goes to Polaris, and which is a very interesting lottery kind of a DApp, which allows you to use interest-bearing tokens and many other different modalities to design a great lottery system. So again, congratulations once again to the winners, and I wish you guys all the best. And we want to help you scale these solutions as well, and so please be in touch. And yes, to the rest of the DApps as well, great job guys. And of course, we found many notable DApps we want to work with, and we will be reaching out to you. So yeah, once again, congratulations, and take care.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Arjun. And just to repeat some of these projects, there's 3 winners, Matic Cross-Chain Arbitrage, Supplement Finance, and Polaris. And we'll be getting in touch with all of you over email and Discord. Next up, we have Uma, and I'll let them share their video and talk about their winners.
Hello from the UMA team. Today I have the pleasure of announcing the ETHGlobal MarketMake Hackathon UMA Sponsorship Prize winner. We decided to have our community vote for which they thought was the best project. An honorable mention to the DivX team, which was the internal favorite project within the UMA team, but our community voted for the Coinfu.io team to win the $3,000 UMA Sponsorship Prize. Thanks to all the teams for participating, and we look forward to seeing you in the next hackathon.
Amazing. So just to repeat the winners for the UMA prize, that is project Coinfu.io. And we also have a handful of other sponsors who have not, we're not going to be doing a video, and I'll be just announcing those teams. So for the graph, the winners are Supplement Finance and Poolside, and we'll be getting in touch with you over email and Discord. The ENS prize winners are Project Stake Your Name, Claimable, ENS Analytics, Orca Protocol, and Sublimate Finance. The Aavegotchi winners are Refungible, Haciendas, and Poolside. So those were some of all of our sponsor prize winners, and like I mentioned, we'll be getting in touch with all of these teams shortly after this ends, and through email and over Discord. And with that, I want to go back to our last category, which are primitives and protocols from our finalists. So what I'd like to do is ask all of our judges to turn their cameras back on, and we'll be going into the remaining 4 demos for today. So we'll have Orca Protocol, Gearbox Protocol, Paladin, and Lenti protocols come in and present. And while we're getting set up for the first demo from Orca, we'll just give it a few more seconds and have the presentation kick off. So I see that Julia is here. So whenever you are ready, please feel free to demo.
Great, thank you. Okay, hi everyone. We are absolutely thrilled to have been selected as finalists. We are Team Orca from Brooklyn, New York, and today we will be demoing the Orca Protocol, a flexible and adaptable DAO implementation. Our team members are John Sterlacci, Stephen Valeri, Will Kim, Daniel Thompson, and myself, Julia Rosenberg. I think it's no secret that existing DAOs have a usability problem. Most are either overly complicated or not robust enough. Current governance frameworks lack ways to meaningfully manage hierarchy and permissions, which create voter apathy and misaligned voter incentives. A protocol which allows DAOs to easily create flexible rules and manage permissions is critical in order for on-chain governance to really reach its full potential. This is why we created the Orca Protocol, a gas-efficient, Sybil-resistant DAO implementation using ERC 1155, equipped with a simple UI dashboard to manage DAO proposals and allow on-chain voting for on-chain assets. To give a little background on our infrastructure, Orca is made up of pods, organizations which consist of a fixed number of member tokens, each representing a single vote. Each pod is linked to a multi-sig vault to securely hold shared on-chain assets. Pods are flexible and built modularly to accommodate infinite use cases, including project governance, pooled investing, and community management, and so much more. The Orca Protocol mints and distributes the pod's ERC 1155 member tokens. In order to claim a membership, one must meet the pod member requirements and rules. Pod members can create proposals and vote on whether to execute. A proposal could be internal, defining requirements to hold membership, or external, performing on-chain actions such as deploying pod funds. All proposals are executed on-chain by a network of third-party users called shepherds. In exchange for Orca tokens, these shepherds ensure proposals are executed fairly and member requirements are being met. Now that you understand the infrastructure, let's see how Jane would use the Orca Protocol interface. Jane opens the Orca Protocol and logs in using her preferred wallet. On her dashboard, she can see her pods and any urgent pod proposals. MarketMake Club has an active internal proposal requiring members hold 1 Unisoc. She votes yay to implement the proposal directly from her dashboard. Jane is going to try to join a new pod, SoFi Direct Club. The pod has 2 internal rules. 1, pod members must hold 120 Aave, and pod members must delegate their Aave vote to the pod. Jane currently only meets 1 of those requirements. She now goes to Aave to delegate her vote and comes back. Once she performs that action, Jane now complies with the pod's internal requirements and claims her membership. Let's say Jane wants to create a new proposal. She selects the Aave rule library, the submit vote action, and proposes that the pod use its delegating voting power to vote yes on Aave governance Prop 7. The proposal is now available to other members to vote on. If the proposal passes, it will automatically get executed by the Orca network. And that is the Orca Protocol. We are incredibly excited for what's ahead. We plan to finish the web app shortly, bring Orca to the mainnet, build out a comprehensive integration library, implement pod hierarchy systems, and so much more this year. We hope Orca Protocol will empower all types of organizations to lean into decentralized governance.
here is where you can find out more. And thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Julia. It's a really cool demo, and we'll have you stay here for a few more demos before we go into the Q&A. But next up, we have Gearbox Protocol, and I'll have Mikhail kick us off with his demo.
Yeah. Thanks, Kartik. So this is Mikhail Lazarev, and today I'm so proud to present Gearbox under-collateralized protocol for margin trading on Uniswap. So the problem which Gearbox solves is that lending protocols are over-collateralized, and furthermore, traders should use both lending and DEX protocols for margin trading. So using multiple protocols increases gas costs. Gearbox solves these problems, and using Gearbox, you could trade with leverage on Uniswap on other first-class DEXs, providing 25% collateral only. And of course, you can earn by providing liquidity to the pool. So let's start from earning. Liquidity providers could choose between pools to deposit their money, and each pool has underlying asset and the level of risk. The level of risk depends on tokens admitting for trading, and interest rate depends on asset utilization rate. So let's consider this situation with a persona trader, Jack. Jack is a crypto trader, and to open leverage position, he provides 25 Ethereum and got 100 Ethereum on virtual account. So using his virtual account, Jack could swap tokens from pool allowed list on first-class DEXs like Uniswap, 1inch, Curve, SushiSwap, and others. And when Jack wants to close his position, it would be converted automatically to underlying asset, and pool interest would be deducted. So as a result, he'll get initial amount plus profit earned. All funds are held on Gearbox contracts and cannot be withdrawn by traders. So Gearbox uses a risk model to continuously assess the quality of traders' portfolio. And if the value of the portfolio converted to underlying asset is below the liquidation threshold, it becomes available for liquidators, and they could eliminate it and got premium. As a decentralized protocol, Gearbox delegates decision concerning allowed token policy and liquidation threshold to decentralized organization, which consists of liquidity providers of each pool. And now let's check the demo. So I go to local thing, and let's start from earnings. So you can see different pools here of different assets and different rates. When I press on the pool, I can see the allowed tokens, different pool parameters, and of course, it's easy to start. So for example, I want to put 100, yep, done. And for example, on VES, so let's buy 50. So you can see there are two deposits on my side, and let's go to the leverage price. Here I can start my position, and let's start Ethereum because we today on ETHGlobal. So I provide 100 Ethereum, press confirm here, and it automatically appears here. And for example, let's choose link. Just got price from them. Thanks, guys. Yep. So there are two different leverage positions here. So let's go to trade section. Now, as a trader, I can choose between these two different ones, and I'd like to trade for VES. So I press trade, and I can see allowed tokens here. So I can buy and sell for all tokens from this list. And for example, let's buy Aave. Okay, so I want to 50 Aave. So when I sign this transaction, it would exchange these tokens on Uniswap. So, okay, press connects to Uniswap. Voila. So it's declined some amount of VES and put into Aave. So earn as a liquidity provider, leverage your position using different offers,
and trade on Uniswap on first-class basis. And another great feature that it has Easter egg. When you press on footer, you can see a special thanks Easter egg. So thanks for all MarketMake ETHGlobal team, sponsors, and Kartik Talwar personally. You are the best. Thanks, guys. It was a Gearbox Protocol.
Thanks a lot, Mikhail. I appreciate those comments. I think the whole ETHGlobal team should be thanked for everything that you're alluding to, but also I don't think we did anything compared to you who actually made this possible over the weekend. So I think credit is deserved to just you here. So this is a really interesting concept and there's a lot of interesting kind of thoughts and primitives built into this. So I'll let some of our questions come in later, but before that, we'll move on to our third demo here. That's Project Paladin. So I'll let them kick off with their live demo. Looks like we are just making the necessary permissions work. All right, so Romain is being promoted to kick off with the demo. And Romain, whenever you are here, feel free to kick us off with the screen share.
So it should work. So basically, Paladin is a governance lending protocol. The idea behind it is that today, the whole point of DeFi is decentralizing and disintermediating people and the protocols and everything behind them. And by decentralizing them, what you need is that you need to have users that actually have the decision-making power. When you look at protocols today, they have the capability to do it, but when you look what happens in the voting system right now, there's a very low percentage of people who are voting. For example, if you look at the past Aave proposals, you have around 500 tokens that were used out of 16 million. So there are a lot of reasons why these tokens aren't used. But instead of asking if we should or should not let people loan their governance token, right, we should ask why not let them. Why? Because it's a question of capital efficiency. The idea is that if you actually allow people to loan their voting power, other people are going to use them. And because of this, you're going to have much more activity on your governance. That's the idea we went with. The idea is that because of Paladin, we can actually polarize users who are yield farmers, who are speculators, for example, and we can, with all the governance activists, the one who will actually help drive the growth of your decentralized platform. So the idea is the way we do it is that we allow governance farmers to actually deposit their tokens and earn yield in exchange of loaning them. And the activists, they can borrow the voting power and via delegation and pay it with either stable coins or governance token. So I'm going to have to show you how the protocol works. We have a working demo on Kovan. And the idea behind it is that you can either borrow, deposit, or withdraw. First of all, we're going to look on Aave. We have right now 9.5 voting power. So if I want to borrow more voting power, I just have to ask for example, 1.5 more voting power. I can choose up until what time I actually want it. So for example, I need it for the next 3 days. I'm going to have my fees that are going to automatically update, and I can just borrow. So we're going to wait while it loads, but you can actually check in the balances and see all of your active loans and the ones that were passed. So for example, I borrowed one for 1 voting power, and I borrowed another one which is currently active. It showed you whether it's active or closed for 3 Aave token. The idea is that it actually allows people who don't especially have the means to put up a proposal to put it.
and it allows people to have actually build defensive position in governance action. So now that my transaction has passed, I can actually check it on my Aave page. So, sorry, sometimes internet can be kind of slow. And right now you can see I have 11 voting power. So we actually have a working demo, and where it gets really interesting is not that you can actually lend the tokens, because that's something you could actually just do with Aave Compound, which is just borrowing the token. You can actually lend any of the sub tokens that grant you governing power. So for example, Stake Aave. That's where it gets really interesting, because right now Stake Aave has no use outside of actually redeeming your Aaves in the safety module. So it means that because it has voting power, we can actually lend it to anyone. That's very strong power, because it actually enhances the composability of the protocols and the usage of every single token. So if I want, for example, to deposit any Aave, I can, for example, deposit 2 Aaves, and the actual APY can be quite important, because it depends on utilization ratio. And the idea is that the people who are actually going to borrow any governance token, they're not going to borrow 100 or 1,000 tokens, right? They're going to borrow 100,000 or 1 million, because you need a lot of tokens to put up a proposal to actually move a vote. So that's the idea basically behind the protocol. And if I go back to my presentation, I'd like to go a bit more into the technical details. The idea is that inherently the way the protocol works is that we need to delegate the whole part of the whole token pool in the smart contract. So in order to do this, we actually need to create a sub-mother pool, which is what we have to do each time there's a request for a borrower. So that's what we do, and then we just delegate it. So this type of architecture allows us to have two really cool things. The first one is actually to use any sub tokens. And the second one is, because we're actually delegating and not directly lending the token, we can actually do a loan of the voting power without any risk of credit. Yeah, because there's no risk of credit, because you actually can't lose a token. You can just redirect the delegation anytime. This is pretty cool, and this allows us to build a lot of things. So just to end, what we can do with Paladin, first of all, not only integrating more and more governance protocols, but we can actually integrate it directly into any staking pool that doesn't actually allocate efficiently its governance tokens. For example, if you have a Uni or an Aave pool, the idea is that all unborrowed tokens could be directly borrowed and redirect their borrowing power, their voting power, inside of Paladin. So we can actually use the Paladin contract inside any loaning or any staking contract, which makes the allocation of voting power much more efficient. Thank you very much for listening.
Amazing. Thanks, Romain. And our last demo for today is lend to protocols. So we'll have L2P Finance come off and kick off with their demo.
Hi, today I want to showcase you L2P.finance, a platform to scale the cutting-edge feature of credit delegation developed by Aave. This platform is brought to you by 5 full-stack engineers who are Amélie, Loïc, Rémi, Stéphane, and myself, Alexis. L2P stands for Lend to Protocols. What we are allowing with L2P is for users to access an additional revenue stream while reducing their risk, along with creating a new liquidity pipeline for dApps and protocols. And how do we do that? By giving the opportunity to the users to delegate their credit line to only authorized dApps and protocols and diversifying their exposure thanks to our algorithm. And that's what Stéphane is going to show you during this live demo. The floor is yours, Stéphane.
Thank you, Alex. Hello, I'm Stéphane from the L2P team, and I'm going to show you the platform. So first, I'm going to connect my wallet. Before the demo, I already onboarded one participant, one delegator, which will delegate 3,000 DAIs to the pool. So basically, the DAIs are delegated in a pool and for people to borrow. Now I will show you how to onboard one user. So I'm going to go on another delegator, and this delegator will send 2,000 DAIs to the pool. So the first step is going to allow the contract
to actually handle my DAI. The second step will be to delegate my credit line to the pool so it can loan funds. And the last step will be to actually deposit my tokens into Aave. That's the second step. When the deposit step will be done, you will see that we have actually some tokens deposited here. So I'm depositing DAIs to the pool, and I will receive back 8 DAIs. So I will be starting to receive returns directly from the Aave protocol. And that should be it. Yes, so we have the deposit. The next step of the demo is to act as a borrower. So a borrower is actually, in our context, a trusted DApp, a DApp that the L2P pool allowed to borrow some funds. So I'm going to do just that. The DApp will borrow 2,000 DAIs and will actually get these funds back without any collateralization whatsoever. So when the transaction actually goes through, you will see that the loan will be rebalanced between the several participants of the pool. So the delegator 1 will loan 1,500 DAIs to the borrower, and delegator 2, which is the one we are seeing right now, will loan 500 DAIs. So that's it. You'll see that when we actually loan funds from the pool, we earn 2 kinds of profits. The first kind is directly from Aave protocol, and the second kind is from the use of the L2P pool. So depositing assets into the platform is a way to boost your returns. The next step is to repay the loan. So I'm repaying the whole loan that I took as a borrower, as a trusted DApp. And that's what I'm doing. And so we are doing actually the reverse step. So you saw in the UI that I repaid 2,000 DAIs, but what I'm actually doing is repay 2,000 plus the interest rate that were accrued in the borrower. So the loan was repaid, that's great. And it should be the case for delegator 1 as well. Yay. So the last step of the demo is to actually show you that a user can withdraw at any time. So I'm going to do just that. The first step is to approve the DAI interactions for my contracts. The second step will be to withdraw my deposits and also the interest that I got back. And that's the last step. So here I'm showing you a withdrawal without any loaned amount. So that works. But if I had any amount loaned, the remainder would be actually rebalanced between all the participants of the pool. So we can exit anytime. That's it for the demo. Thanks. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Stéphane. And now to our audience, we are waiting for you on L2P.finance. We hope that you will enjoy using it as much as we enjoy building it. And if you think we should support more assets or that we should have a voice in selecting the whitelisted dApps, well, we agree, and it's part of our roadmap. This was L2P.finance. Thank you for your attention and keep delegating.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much. And that was our last demo for today. So what I'd like to do is just ask all the teams to turn their cameras on, and we'll jump into a quick feedback review and Q&A section. A lot of interesting themes here: being able to manage DAOs, being able to do under-collateralized loans, being able to lend to other DAOs and protocols, and some super interesting concepts. And for all of our VIPs and judges, I'd love to kind of see what you thought of some of these teams and these projects and the applications that could be possible.
Hey there. Orca, I thought the presentation was super well done. The app looks very organized, which I guess is what you want when you're creating a DAO organization app. But I'm curious, I mean, obviously there have been several platforms that have created tools around DAOs, Aragon, Colony, etc. So I guess I'm just kind of curious, like what did they get wrong? What are you trying to solve for? Or what is Orca, where does Orca really improve?
So our sort of mindset is to build DAOs around sort of like smaller actionable groups. I think other DAOs, they're
sort of test case is like, how does this work with like 1,000 to 10,000 people? Whereas ours are like 10 people, action groups. And so we sort of clawed back a lot of the opinionated designs they had and just made a super lightweight frame that, you know, anyone can extend off of and integrate with. So we tried to not make too many decisions for people.
Okay, so whereas like Aragon is trying to be a DAO solution for a project or an entire project, you guys are maybe trying to be an organization solution for, say, you know, a certain political party within a governance system for them to help organize themselves.
So we had discussed, we've discussed with some other projects about creating like a community board through Orca. And so they can deposit funds inside the multi-sig, and you can have a community board of like, I don't know, 5 to 10 people, just sort of organize events or whatever they want to do with their community, delegating those funds however they want.
I think also something we have coming up is that we want to implement pod hierarchies so that there's the option to invite more people into the organization, but tiering it out as to not dilute the governance voting power.
Gotcha. Cool. Great job, guys. This looks awesome.
My question is for Paladin. I know that like the governance lending piece is really controversial, but I think it's definitely inevitable. So making this easy for people makes sense to me. What does the experience look like for lenders? Like, do you manually pick which pools to select, or will it automatically pair you up based on the attributes you're selecting? Like, how does it look for the lender?
So for the lender, it looks exactly like the borrower in the sense that you just pick the governance token you want, except you don't actually choose for Aave or stake Aave. You just choose Aave and you're just going to pick in both of the pools because it's the same voting power. So that's about it. And just as you could see, I didn't have time to show you, I didn't think, but in orange, you could see what was left of supply. So what you could still pick, because one really cool thing is that these are actually non-collateralized loans, right? You don't need any collateral to loan. You just pay the fee of prompt, and if you don't need as much time as you actually paid, you can just reduce the time frame and get the fees you didn't use back.
Got it. Thanks.
I had one more quick thing here on governance lending. I mean, just as with banks, you know, banks decide who they lend to and who they don't lend to, right? I wonder if you guys could build in that functionality into this product, because you know, I can imagine lending out some of my governance token to some people, but not to others. And I think you could use, you could even use like Uniswap's Sybil tool that we recently released to basically require that people attach their Twitter name or something to the account that they're trying to borrow with. But it might be nice to offer some visibility into who you're actually lending to. So that the lender can choose, you know, whether or not to lend to that person or not.
So we've actually pondered about this because, as you said, there's a very big responsibility in actually loaning governance tokens. The choice we're actually doing for a roadmap is that we're actually going to use modularity in the sense that there's going to be a main pool where everyone can borrow and loan from each other, because that's a principle of DeFi. If we actually start doing anything else, we might as well not be in DeFi, right? And we're going to actually open it some smaller pools that are going to be maybe not Sybil resistant, but at least some type of whitelisting that's going to be governed in a way or another, allowing people to actually restrain part of the people not to use their governance tokens. But I actually think if protocols are not able to actually manage the loaning of their tokens, maybe on our platforms or on other platforms, they're going to have a problem, because the reality is that anyone can buy a token, OTC or anything, and take control of a protocol. So you need a lot of money, right? But it's possible, and we have to address the question. There is a real problem about this.
I'm just going to jump in, and because I have questions for Paladin too. I think this is like one of these faux pas categories, but I kind of agree with Linda that we should embrace this, right? Like, we're building protocols in Byzantine environments, so it's ridiculous to think that this won't happen if there is an economic incentive for it to happen. And I think a lot of our governance systems today, we don't do a great job like reasoning about exactly this type of attack. So this is going to help us in the long run make more kind of robust governance systems. So I have two questions for you. The first is, how do you think about like safety with respect to custody? Because it's my understanding, right, that now you're kind of depositing your tokens into a hot wallet. So that's can be challenging from a UX perspective. And the second part is integrations. Do you need to integrate, or sorry, do the protocols that you're trying to work with need to do any added integration in order to work with Paladin?
So I don't know if one of the engineers in my team wants to answer about the safety question, because I would feel very unqualified to actually answer.
I can go on. Yeah, so basically the user, just like any lending protocol, deposit his funds to our contracts, and we just give him the assurance that until he withdraw it, the tokens won't leave the Paladin protocols, because we don't lend them to the borrower. We just spawn a new contract and send them to this contract, and this contract delegates the voting power to the user that borrowed, I don't know, 200 AAV token. And so right now we just can have this insurance that the tokens will stay in the protocol, either in the pool or in a little contract that we created to delegate power. But we don't have any other form of security right now.
As for integrations, basically there's two ways, right? The current way, you don't need any integration. And that's what we were just saying before about the problem with governance tokens, is that anyone can actually use them in a way or another if they found a way to take possession, to loan, or any way to actually access a governance token. So we don't need anything to actually do it from the protocols, which is scary and at the same time good, because we're actually putting the conversation on the table, right? And the second part is, if we actually want to use the staking, the governance token that are locked in other staking pool, of course, we need some integration from each protocols. And that's going to actually ask us to go and talk with each protocol and to see what we can do and if it's interesting for them. Because the cool thing about integrating Paladin directly into your protocol is that you're actually giving more yield to your users. So you're incentivizing to actually bring more value locked in your protocol. Basically, it's an upper Lego money Lego. Sorry.
Got it. Cool.
I have a question to lend to protocol. So, are you basically using the kind of Aave's native credit delegation, or are you looking kind of like does the user need to lock the A tokens, kind of like to give it to the custody of the smart contracts, and when they are in a contract, then you basically pull the liquidity from Aave?
So we use the native credit delegation from Aave for now, but we saw that all of the tokens were on your repo, and that we could use them and decide our own rate to make them grow or to. So for now, it was easier for us, if we wanted the protocol to work, to build exactly on what was done on Aave, but we could definitely deploy our own tokens, so that they would represent more how much you're earning from the protocol. Or we went for the shortest route to the happy flow. That's true.
So basically, is it like now peer-to-peer, or let's say, could someone just create a vault, and let's say someone just posts a tweet about, hey, here's an interesting, like, a vault you could delegate, and others can delegate to that particular, let's say, vault or like a contract, and you can like pull up this delegation liquidity? Or is it just like now, like peer-to-peer, that there has to be like a trusted dApp that you're delegating to, or could you actually pool the liquidity, like get like multiple people delegate credit to that same case?
anyone can delegate. Not everyone can borrow, but anyone can delegate. So if you wanted to create a bot to delegate profusely on the the test contract for now, you could. You should be whitelisted. You should be authorized though on the other side, because we want the people to borrow to have at least a reputation, so that it protects the people who are delegating and basically trusting, because it's a totally uncollateralized loan. So it's not even under collateralized. It's not collateralized at all. So
yeah, but that's pretty cool.
I had a quick question for Gearbox. Yeah, cool project. Always, I think anything that allows for better capital efficiency is always interesting in my book. But my question is actually around gas efficiency. So can you just discuss the issues that you face in creating kind of a gas efficient product, and any kind of innovations that you came up with there, or how you solved that problem?
At first, for gas efficiency, these virtual accounts stored on smart contracts, so we do not pay for gas for example, like tokens. As you know, the last balancer moved also to store these balances inside contracts. The next point, it's really optimized to use as less as possible transactions to open your leverage. It's just a few checks. And another point, that for risk assessment, liquidators could check if this portfolio is cross the liquidation threshold. And if it crossed, they of course could pay for gas to liquidate it. Otherwise, it really used so less logic inside. So if you compare this to use lending protocol plus Uniswap or other DEXs, it could be drastically less. So
cool, nice work.
Thanks.
For Paladin also, like I was thinking, you could even have kind of like I don't know if it goes to the same offering, but practically that you could pay also for giving out loans. I mean, not loans, but like giving out the votes. Because like the thing is, like what I was talking with Rick Burden, and he was trying to kind of be a protocol politician and active member in DeFi, and kind of like he campaigned for getting votes and so forth. But there isn't kind of a model now to get be incentivized to be a protocol politician, besides the fact that for the sake of decentralization. So I don't know if in your case it will be negative interest rate that actually you have to pay to delegate, but to someone. But what's interesting here is that this kind of model is still missing out there. That choose someone and choose fees, and and then they don't have to worry, like they can do full time actually governing protocols. So.
So I think, and I'm not specifically talking for my for my team, but the thing with protocol politician is I think they're not that fit for DeFi, in the sense that we're trying to decentralize everything, and then we're actually re-centralizing at one point. So of course we're giving the trust to someone, but the whole point of DeFi was actually not having to challenge the trust question. So the idea, I think, is that with protocols like Paladin, we can actually very easily create, because we're aggregating voting power, we can create what we call automated delegates and train the users to actually coordinate to actually make their automation of their coordination of voting sub DAOs, basically like political parties, but you can have a representative, but you don't have someone who actually owns the voting power. I think protocol politician is a good idea, but I don't think it's the end game for DeFi. We can have representatives, but I think giving them the power is just gonna move the current problems we have to the same thing, but in DeFi.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a very interesting approach.
I got a quick question for Orca. What is the timeline for us to see this in action? And how are you thinking about getting this in front of people?
It's a great question. So we're working on sort of solidifying the smart contracts a little bit. And we really want to push hard to get this on mainnet soon, as well as like, button up the web app. And, we're just trying to get it in the hands of communities that want to have a little bit more agency on chain. So we're hoping within the next few months.
Amazing. Well, I think the kind of thing I'm sensing here is that realistically, activism investing is about to get a whole lot interesting in crypto. So I don't even know how to fully think about that world, but I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity for arbitrages around basically governance, and that's an interesting world that I don't think we've ever seen before. So can't wait to see what that enables, and also kind of just commenting on a few other protocols. Obviously, the advent of how DAOs are sort of thriving right now and how they're becoming super commonplace. I think we're going to see a lot more opportunity in getting those in the hands of everyday users and then being able to speak or participate more actively in their relative community. And of course, capital efficiency is always going to remain important for this entire ecosystem. So with Gearbox and L2P just being able to take advantage of the capital that's within the system in interesting and efficient ways will just make a lot more applications possible. So I want to thank all of you again for demoing, being able to do this thing in all the different time zones you're in, and taking precious time out of your day to tell us about the amazing things you worked on over the past few weeks. And I want to congratulate all of you and all 12 teams for being here today. So with that said, I just have a few closing thoughts for this event, and I want to share those with you, and mostly their thank yous. So I want to thank all of the teams here presenting from the protocol and the primitive side, and we'll be moving on to the last closing thoughts. So essentially, the event was 3 weeks long, and there are a lot of people that I want to thank who actually made this possible for us to run and execute this event. We have all of our judges, our speakers, our sponsors, our special guests, our mentors, volunteers, and of course, all the hackers. So first off, I want to thank Stani, Ashleigh, Spencer, and Linda for being here with us today and being able to not only just share the excitement, but giving their feedback, asking questions, and engaging, and also offering a lot of suggestions on what features or enhancements that they can do, and getting this in the hands of people that they really want to try this out. So thank you so much for giving us your time today, and we really appreciate it. So specifically, not just the 4 people we have on our call here, we had so many more judges who helped go through all of our projects, all 130 or so of them over the past few days. And it's a long list that I would rather not individually point out to you, but I want to make sure that they all get the recognition and thank you that they deserve. And on top of all that, all of our speakers who helped with doing talks and workshops and being able to conduct a handful of sessions over the past few weeks. Thank you so much for doing that and making it possible for others, especially all the newcomers in this space, to learn and get up to date on how they can get started in the Web3 ecosystem. And of course, we have our amazing sponsors who came in as mentors and hung out and helped out all of our teams with projects on the technical side, telling them about how they can use certain protocols or make it easy for them to not start from the beginning and use some of the existing work to make their own lives easier. There's a lot of people here to thank, and without their support, not only would this event not have been possible, but also we would have seen a lot of projects that would have been blocked on some technical and design issues. So thank you so much to all of our mentors here. It's a very long list. And of course, the other thing I want to do is give a quick shout out to some of the 6 volunteers who helped us out during all of our judging. We ran so many things in parallel to make sure that this is efficient as a process and also respectful for all of the attendees' times. And they were the ones behind the scenes making sure that everything ran extremely smoothly. And of course, I also want to give a quick shout out to the ETHGlobal team who has constantly worked behind the scenes to make this event a success, but not just this event, throughout everything else that we do. So I want to quickly give a shout out to Trent, who has been amazing at making sure that everybody knows what's going on from the attendees and the public side of this event. He leads our community and marketing, and has been crucial to making sure that everybody is attended to in terms of not being blocked, being able to understand what's happening when, and also conducting some of our amazing workshops and talks. Next up is Emily, who has been amazing at running the event on her Discord, whether that's helping our teams getting unblocked, on having our attendees getting unblocked, on getting support from mentors, to managing all the check-ins for this cohort and being able to run and ensure that no hacker has any outstanding issues, and managing the entire support. Without her help, we would not be here, and we would not be able to attend to 500 people in parallel. Next up is Andrew. So everything you're seeing here on the stream is being organized and run behind the scenes from Andrew. He's been crucial in making our massive transition to switching over from in-person to online. And he's an absolute star in making sure that you have a really consistent, smooth, and amazing experience as an attendee, whether it's this talk or this session or anything else that we do throughout an event. Next up is Jacob. Jacob has been our partnership and sponsorship lead. He's been helping ensure that every sponsor has been able to get their word out, and whether it's helping attendees understand how they can best use some of the tools that and abstractions that have been already done by some of these protocols in this space, to making sure that we are able to connect and actually help increase the developer activity in the respective ecosystems. So thank you, Jacob. Next up is Liam Horn. Everything you see that's being done on our backend to manage this event, whether that's the dashboard to how you are interacting with us on this chat, all that is thanks to Liam. And it's a really big effort and Herculean effort for making all this work on the technical side to be able to support everybody and do this all real time. So without his help and also understanding how we move the rest of the event and ETHGlobal forward, this would not be possible. And last but not least, I want to thank Heather, who is the person in charge of making the entire experience possible and running ETHGlobal. Without her, Heather managing the entire process, the project, and what we do as a team, you would not have MarketMake and everything else we're going to talk about later today. So thank you so much, Heather, and the rest of the ETHGlobal team. I want to make sure that I spend more time on this because we spent the least amount of time thanking the team that makes all this possible. So thanks again. And with that, we are coming to a close. We've been using the word finalists for all of our events, and especially this one where we talked about we had 134 projects. We had 12 teams that are finalists, and they came in today and demoed their projects. Not only did they demo what they did, but they also did it live without any technical issues. And the thing is, if you've been part of an ETHGlobal event before, we kind of really spend the time highlighting that this is about experimentation and learning and being able to try things out without having to necessarily commit to doing something long-term or essentially signing up for solving a particular thing. We want to give everybody their creative freedom and also ensure that this is not designed as a competition. We use the word finalist because that is the best word we have for this, where it becomes a way for us to showcase some of our interesting and favorite projects throughout this process. So when I say finalists, all 12 teams here are technically our first place winners. They are the top 12 and the 12 teams that are the winners for MarketMake. And as part of being a finalist, every member on their team will be getting 0.58. And this is kind of how we want to thank each and everybody here who helped us out with doing their demos and putting in all the amazing work and working on some really, really cool projects that they'll continue to work on from what we've heard and seen. So I'm excited about that. And congratulations to all of you for not only just being our finalists and winning the 8th here, but also some of you also have won a lot of interesting prizes from our sponsors. So we'll be getting all those details to you over Discord and email, but I want to give a big congratulations to you today. And hopefully for all of you that are in different time zones, you get some time to get some rest and sleep now that we're at a close. So last but not least, I want to make sure that this is consistent to all the other events that we've done in the past, which is this would not be an ETHGlobal event without us telling you what's coming next. And I am super proud to announce that not only just we're going to talk about the next event, we also have a couple things in the works that'll all hint right now. So this is an announcement for announcement, but we are going to be looking at a small event that is going to be a 2-day hackathon over the next few weeks, and we'll be discussing and publicizing that event's theme shortly. But our big event that we're going to plan on next is going to be called Scaling Ethereum. It's going to start on April 8th to May 14th and is an entire event dedicated to bringing projects in this ecosystem towards Layer 2. This is at this point live, and you can head over to scaling.ethglobal.co to sign up and learn more about it. We'll be doing a lot of summits. We'll be talking about how we can get projects and protocols to all participate and move themselves and try things out in the entire Layer 2 ecosystem. And we are extremely excited about this next hackathon. So that said, I want to thank all of you here for being with us today. Hopefully you all got to see some amazing projects. I want to thank all the teams who presented today, but also all the 134 projects that spent all this time working on and trying their curiosities and playing with what's possible in the Web3 ecosystem. We hope you keep building, and we hope you tell us about what you're building so we can help promote it and make sure that you get the help you need should you need it. And thanks again, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.